welcome back to Ask Housing. With all the conversation and buzz that's happening around 1 year into demonetization, we decided to get the industry perspective from one of the leading industry experts. Our guest today is Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani. He is co-founder Hiranandani Group and National President NAREDCO. Sir, great to have you back on the show.
My pleasure.
I'm Jhumur Ghosh, I'm the editor-in-chief of Housing.com News, and we'll be speaking to Dr. Hiranandani about not just demonetization, but about every major disruption and reform that the real estate sector has faced in the last year and how it has been impacted by all of those changes. So, I'd like to start off with Festive Season 2017. I know we all had our hopes pinned on it. How do you think Festive Season 2017 has treated the market this time?
If you're asking from a global perspective or a national perspective, I think it's been a sad state of affairs.
Okay.
But as our company has done extremely well, I wouldn't be able to complain too much.
Okay.
So I would say that segmentation wise has happened, wherein in certain areas sales have improved tremendously. In some areas there has been a minus position.
Okay.
So I think you can't make a across the board statement that it's fantastic, and you can't make a on the board statement that it's bad, because we have done extremely well.
Okay, so speaking of the festive season, I'd like you to sort of digress a little bit. And I know that at one of your projects, Hiranandani Estate, at the Walk, you'd done a fantastic light show. I know a lot of developers this year sort of went out of their way to sort of, entice the customers and just do their best. The lighting at the Walk was really fantastic. Could you just briefly talk about, what the thoughts were behind doing that light show?
Well, you're just 5 years late because we've been doing it for the last 5 years, and we kind of use every Diwali to have a festival. So we are not done it just because of demonetization or the market going down. We do it ritually year after year after year, and we've been doing it, and happily everybody has come over there. We light up the whole in Hiranandani Estate. And in fact, the funny part is that the whole city now on the main Godbandha Road, right up to the entrance of the city during Diwali, gets lit up. So it's just grown beyond my imagination that it would do. And many of the societies themselves participate a little more to add on to whatever we are doing. So I think it's great fun to see this kind of festivity. It's a plus point as far as we are concerned. And it gives a glow of happiness.
So moving on to a slightly more serious topic now. We've all been talking about 1 year into demonetization. What's your verdict? One of the most radical disruptions, and it's sort of unprecedented anywhere in the world. What would you say? Has it worked, not worked? What's your take on demonetization?
I think you have used the right word. You've already said it's a radical disruption, and that's exactly what it was. So I think the disruption was there. You have to accept the fact that there was a reason for it. There was an objective which the Prime Minister had, and that was the kind of vision statement that he had, that he wanted to achieve A, B, C, D, E, remove the black money, get other insurgency issues out of the way, and so on and so forth, and bring a pure official system which would be paperless. So I think that's what he targeted for. And that's what he tried to achieve as far as that is concerned.
But in terms of, you mentioned, black money. So one of the benefits that was touted to us is that, we're going to purge the sector of cash transactions. Has it really happened?
Well, if you're asking me as far as our company is concerned, or many of the A-grade developers is concerned, it's no different. For the simple reason that we've already into the check transactions for a long time now, maybe 10, 15 years. So really it has not affected us in that way. But yes, it has disrupted the economy in terms of confusion in the minds of the buyers more than anything else. And that disruption has caused an overall reduction in buying across the board in the country, and more so in the north region. The NCR region is probably the worst affected, but I think the western and southern region was affected for about 4 to 6 months very radically, and now I think we have sprung back.
Yeah. So, when you talk about, how it's impacted the home buyers. So one of the things is that, we are talking about excess liquidity now in the banking system, which is translated into better home loan interest rates. Would you say that has impacted the demand side of things? Has it impacted home buying sentiment in a more positive way? The fact that we are seeing far better home loan interest rates than we have in quite a few years now.
I think they have happened at the same time, but may not be completely interconnected.
Yeah.
In the sense that more funds have come into the banking system.
Yeah.
But I don't know if more funds have actually come into the economy.
Yeah.
Because most of the money has gone to the Reserve Bank of India in terms of repo deposits with the Reserve Bank of India at whatever 4-5%.
Yeah.
And I think a large number of banks have not taken aggressive stance in general lending.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, you're right in the sense that home loan has become much more aggressive.
Yeah.
And you must remember one thing, that NPA in home loans is the lowest in India.
Yeah.
Less than 2% of most of the banks in the country. Hence, most of the banks are very, very, very happy to lend for home loans.
Yeah.
And what's the story like? The story is that most of the people who are taking 20 years and 25 years loans are paying back in 5 to 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
So in reality, people are preponing their repayment of interest, and the banks are very, very happy because they're able to again lend to other people on that.
Yeah.
So I think the banks are in fact looking for more customers than there are available in the marketplace.
Okay.
So banks are very aggressive, customers are less.
Okay, so that's an interesting take on it. I want to move on to another radical reform that we've seen, and that is GST. It was one of the most looked up to and looked forward to reforms. My mind comes to two promises that were made to us. One is, of course, that we will simplify a very complex tax structure, and it's going to be revenue neutral. Would you say that the on-ground reality today reflects those promises?
The first is absolutely reflected in the sense that the overall octroi and other things which were coming in the way, VAT and other things, service taxes, have definitely been subsumed into that.
Yeah.
But the second part is absolutely untrue. In the sense that it was supposed to be revenue neutral, it's not. Most of the minimum increase or inflation is about 3.5%, and the average seems to be between 3.5% to 5.5%. So I wouldn't agree that it is revenue neutral, though that was projected like that. So there is a huge inflationary tendency, even in affordable housing. So that's a challenge which I think the market is going to face as that is concerned. So we are definitely representing to the government that you need to correct this mistake if it is a mistake, or if it is they want to tax affordable housing more, then there's nothing I can say about it, because the government has the right to do whatever taxation measure they think are proper.
But from a business point of view, would you say that's a good idea to at least bring affordable housing at this point in time when sentiments are already low? Would it make business sense for them to do that? I know they are entitled to doing whatever they would. I'd like your assessment as a business person.
I'm not worried about the business sense, because business sense is something which you may say it's a builder's view or a buyer's view. What I'm worried about is the Prime Minister's objective. The Prime Minister wants to make affordable housing to all by the year 2020. And that will certainly not be achieved if you're going to charge such high rates of tax. So I think if they want to achieve the Prime Minister's objective, then I think the government will have to do a correction in the GST rates, or subsume stamp duty and other things which are otherwise out of the ambit of GST, and in terms of set-offs.
So, speaking of housing for all, I remember when the Prime Minister made the announcement, the industry was majorly on board with it. There was great optimism. Even the Prime Minister acknowledged that for me to do this, I will need the participation of the private developers. Today, some time has passed since then. Would you say that the government is enabling private developers to sort of participate in the vision of housing for all?
I think they are.
Okay.
So from that point of view, I cannot fault find the government.
Okay.
The Minister of Housing, Mr. Harinder Paul, is certainly been very proactive. In fact, he has brought in 6 new policies on government land on a PPP mode.
Wow.
Only a month ago. And he announced this in our NAREDCO conference. in Mumbai. So I can't find fault in the government's intention in order to create affordable housing. They may not succeed or they may not be able to achieve all the measures because they are not making all the other moves in terms of rectifying GST and other issues. But I can't find fault them in terms of the forthrightness with which the government is acting. And I think I must hats off to them that there is no fault finding in them on that issue.
So as NAREDCO president, if you were to make some recommendations that this is how you can enable this vision, what would be the recommendations that you would like to make?
Well, too many, but I'll make a start. First of all, GST needs to be rectified. I think it needs to go down to 6% if you want to do affordable housing in any set of it. Second, you need to subsume stamp duty registration charges and also, if possible, the local taxes done by the local corporation, which is huge at this point of time. We also need to rectify the ready reckoner rates or the circle rates or the jantri rates as they are called in different parts of the country. So I think that requires rectification. It has to move down. In most of the cases, notional value is created. The income tax department has provided a notional value on sale. So if I'm selling at 6,000, I bring it down to 5,000. It's treated as taking black money, though there may be none. And that is the issue that we need to rectify. Another major aspect that I see is rental housing. Let's look at rental housing worldwide. The richest country in the world, America, the United States, has at least 50% of population living in rental housing. While here, the tax authorities treat that in a very negative manner. In fact, if you have a vacant flat, now there is a notional rent to be provided on the housing. So that's negative. Second, the standard deduction in the case of a house, and so all the deductions are clamped together, is only 30%. We have asked that it should be at least 50% in order to meet the objectives of rental housing. And also the fact that interest which you do for your second house is not allowed as a deduction. So I as a businessman am allowed a deduction, but if you buy a house, second house, interest is not allowed as a deduction from your income. That's quite ridiculous. I don't think it makes sense at all. Which means it's a disincentive to a person to create rental housing on his own. I don't think that was the original intention of government, but somehow I think it's misplaced.
So speaking of intention, the whole of last year we have acknowledged that with the combined effect of demonetisation, RERA and GST, it has definitely deepened the market slowdown. So nobody is denying that there are a lot of short-term pains. What is your view? Do you think that the long-term gains will be enough to sort of offset the short-term pains that we are facing?
The answer is of course yes. The intention being correct, the changes will have to take place. But is the government willing to accept that it is wrong? See, if you don't accept something is wrong, then you can't correct it.
Very true.
If I say I'm wrong, then immediately the correction can be done in 1 minute. So I think the recognition that GST is not revenue neutral, that you need to bring in rental housing, that you need to do all these benefits for housing in order to correct ready reckoner, circle and other rates. If this is acknowledged, government can do it very fast. They're a fast government. So I can't find fault there. But till they don't accept the fact that they are wrong or this needs rectification, how can it happen?
Absolutely. Well, that's all that we have time for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back with more. Have a great day and goodbye.